Welcome, everybody, to It Tastes Different Gaming News. Got a little somber news this week. And, if you are a gaming fan and an anime fan, it's going to hit you in the feels. Before we jump in, just like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So let's get that out of the way so we get to the heart of the story. Thousands of players gather online in Final Fantasy XIV and Dragon Quest X and more, and mourn legendary artist Akira, and I apologize if I mispronounce it, Akira Toriyama. He was the creator of Dragon Ball, and he passed away at the age of 68. Players across all online communities have gathered to pay tribute to Toriyama's decades of beloved and influential work across manga, anime, and video games. Alongside Dragon Ball Z, Toriyama was also well known for his iconic designs for the Dragon Quest series, including the cover art and characters for each game dating back to 1986. And, of course, the lovable blue slime. Everybody knows the blue slime. As well as other games from RPG developers Square Enix like Chrono Trigger. While Toriyama didn't directly contribute to Final Fantasy, the games may not exist without his art. And this quote, I was personally a huge Akira Toriyama fan, and I read the Weekly Jump magazines every week. Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi, and I hope I pronounced that properly, said in an interview, a game designed by such a dream team felt way out of my reach, which is why when I started the Final Fantasy project, I hope to at least get somewhere close to Dragon Quest. The two later collaborated on Blue Dragon, which me and Nick absolutely love that game. And Toriyama's art was like, that was the game. You lived and breathed his artwork. And I love that. So it is very somber news. Nick and I are both wearing our Dragon Ball shirts tonight. Pat failed us, but it's okay. You're still cool, Pat. We love you. It's not too many people in the field that we love, video games and anime, that have such a shadow to them, a figure to them, that so many people know that name. You don't, anime, people may not play video games, but they know that name. Video game people know, video games, but they may not know that name from the anime world. It's beautiful to see that his spirit, hit so many people like that. Dragon Ball was, one of my first big forays into anime. I remember I caught it on Adult Swim. It was a little bit into the Planet Namek arc. I turned it on TV. I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And there was Goku going, ah, and then the show ended. And then the next week they played the next episode and Goku was going, ah. And 2 more episodes later, he finally went Kamehameha. The anime is characters. I think they hit you more than any other genre. I think I remember anime characters better than any movie I've ever watched, unless it's Jeff Goldblum. Love Jeff Goldblum. But anime characters like in Dragon Ball are just, they're ingrained into me. Characters from Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger, you see those and you know those. I mean, no doubts, no question. Know it, got it. That's what kind of contribution this man had made to the things that we love, video games and anime. And to see the outpouring of support and love for his passing from a spectrum of people that, there's probably no limit to on the differences. They all combined, they all come together for this man's loss. I don't know. I'm trying not to get emotional because the more I think about it, how much impact he has had on the things that I enjoy and I love in my life. So um, let's jump into Nick since he's wearing the Dragon Ball shirt. Nick, what do you think about this outpouring of love here? I mean, it's, there's certain people in the real world that would get it, but I think, I don't think any of them contributed to the things that we love as much as, Toriyama did.
Yeah, it's great. Like, I mean, I love Dragon Quest and I love Dragon Ball. I love a lot of the games, and you can tell it's made by Toriyama, any game or anime or anything, because he has that same style. And I love that style of his artwork that he does. Like all the characters, monsters and Dragon Quest, and the main characters and villains and various things like that. I loved how all that looks. Like I think it just looks really cool. So I really liked how he designed all his different characters and set pieces and things like that. It's really great to see the community come together, to honor him. And Dragon Ball was also Dragon Ball Z was also one of the first big animes that really got me into anime as well. I really didn't watch much or really any. My brother, he's like, you got to watch this anime. And I was like, all right. And it was on Toonami, right? And it was Dragon Ball Z, and we started watching it together. He had already been watching it, but we watched it together. And I think it was during the Frieza saga or something like that. And I was like, this is awesome. I love this. This is awesome. And that's, I've always been a Dragon Ball fan since then. And I've seen pretty much almost all of them in the movies as well and stuff like that. And I played a lot of the games, especially if he's doing the artwork and stuff. I mostly enjoy a lot of his games, or a lot of the games that he does the artwork for, especially Dragon Quest. I love Dragon Quest. And, Sandland, which is coming out in April, is his artwork as well. I don't know if that's going to be the last game that he contributes to, or it could be Dragon Quest 12, right? I think 11 was the last one. 12 that's coming out sometime in the future. He may have already done artwork for that and stuff like that before that, because he's done pretty much all the artwork for those. But I know Sandland, which is coming up here in April, that he did the artwork for that, or at least contributed to the artwork in that game, because you can definitely tell.
Sorry. Also, Dragon Ball, and I can't pronounce it. Diama. That's coming out too, and that's his artwork.
Yeah,
and that's they were going back to like the children version, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I forgot about that game. Yeah. Oh, that's the anime, the new anime coming out, right? Yeah, and there's also a new game coming out, Dragon Ball Sparkling Star or Sparkling Cider or something like that.
Yeah. I remember that. It's another Dragon Ball holy crap name, but it'll probably be good.
Yeah. I mean, Kakarot was really good. And, and all those games all those Dragon Ball games, I don't know, for me are like almost the same, except for Dragon Ball Fighter Z was really good. And then Kakarot was really good. Like, I really enjoyed Kakarot.
Yeah, but you didn't bring up Budokai Tenkaichi 3 Super Ultra Happy Donkey Bubblegum.
That game's expensive.
Yes, it is. It's extremely expensive.
Yeah, I think the new one, the new Shining Star, Sparkle, Rainbow, whatever one, Dragon Ball, I think that's a part of the Budokai series. I thought I read.
I believe it is too, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's very influential in the anime and the gaming atmosphere. I mean, like, there's a ton of games and there's a ton of inspiration that you can tell from even other artists and stuff in different games and different anime, that they were inspired by his artwork and the contributions he made to anime and games with his artwork and various aspects of that nature. So you can definitely tell that, especially with other artists, you can tell they've had some inspiration from him, because there are other artists that the designs look a little similar, so you can tell that they're kind of like what he's done and kind of built their own off of that. Right. But yeah, I mean, anything that has his artwork on it, like especially like Sandland, when that came up, like I guess that's an anime or it's a manga. that I didn't know anything about, but I saw the trailer for it. And as soon as I saw the trailer for the game, I was like, oh, hey, I know who the artist is for that, right? Without even knowing, without even saying on the screen, like you can immediately tell. So you can tell his artwork immediately. You know, it's one of those types of artworks that as soon as you see it, you know exactly who did it, right? And again, like I said, I love that artwork. I love that style. You know, Dragon Ball is one of my favorites as far as anime goes. There's other animes I like and stuff, but I can always sit there and watch Dragon Ball uh, anime all the time. So I've seen Dragon Ball Z. I don't know how many times. I've watched that entire series. So
I've been rewatching Super for last couple of months, just kind of going back through it. So
yeah. I've seen Super a few times, and a little bit of GT, and then of course the movies a few times as well. So
I've got all the movies.
Yeah,
on DVD. So, that's an old format.
On VHS. No. But yeah, I mean, it's just great. So it's great to see the community. You know, it's not just anime lovers, right? It's gamers and anime lovers all coming together to pay tribute to Toriyama. So that's great to see that. Pat, how about you, buddy?
Well, I'm not in the Dragon Ball t-shirt fan club. You know, while I liked some Dragon Ball, it's not my favorite. But his art style is, like you guys said, very easy to pick out in a lineup. You know, but there's so many Dragon Balls. I don't know how he had time to do anything other than Dragon Ball. But it is always sad. I think he was only in his mid-60s, 68, I think is what I'd read. So that's, to me, that seems very young to die suddenly. But, you know, and a huge fan outpouring and he's got a very large fan base, right? I think he's always up as one of the top anime artists out there when they always do the polls and the awards and things like that. His name's always in the top 3 at least. So it is sad when you lose somebody like that, because yes, he's still active in the anime scene, you know, very much still doing Dragon Ball stuff. And the one that Shane mentioned, the Daikama or whatever, is coming out soon, right? Probably not here, probably next year before we get it here in the US, but yeah, it's always a sad day when you hear about somebody that you grew up with, right? Because I mean, Dragon Ball especially has been around for freaking in the 80s when we were kids. So, you know, something you grew up with and it still exists today. They're always coming out with a new Dragon Ball, you know, even the movies. So, but it is sad to hear that. And it's great to see the outpouring of fans and then all the people gathering in the games to send someone off that they've enjoyed their art style. You know, it's going to be hard for somebody like that to fade away. You're always going to see his animes, his video games. Hell, there's going to be reruns of Dragon Balls long after we're all gone. So, you know, people are going to see that stuff. And then, like I said, the Dragon Quest games are all popular, all that stuff. And yes, I mean, you can't pick up, in my opinion, you can't pick up a Dragon Quest game and a Dragon Ball anime and not see the similarities. You're like, that looks like Bulma. That looks like, you know, you're like, that character looks like, there's a lot of similarities in the way he draws and designs, and you could see similarities in characters. But, you know, I've seen, when I was reading through his wiki, I'm like, I had no earthly idea that he helped design a car and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm like, dude, just been everywhere. Anime, movies, video games, cars, you know, you name it. He's out there just designing all kinds of stuff. So it is a very sad day for gaming and especially anime. You know, some big shoes to fill for the people that come up behind to try and have as much of an impact on anime and manga as this guy has. That's quite a laundry list of achievements and a laundry list of a career that sounds like he was very much still very active in.
It's funny. You can see a character on screen, on box art or whatever, and you can pick his work because even the most evil design he comes up with has almost a childlike feature, has almost an adorableness to it. Boo, Majin Buu is one of my favorite enemies from the Dragon Ball Z series. And like most enemies in Dragon Ball, they have forms they take. But there was a sweetness about each one except for one, and I don't know why, but I always like it the most. Is Kid Buu. That was like the creepiest design I think he's ever come up with, and I loved it. I loved it because he was evil as shit. You could see it, but there was still that just tweak of adorableness that I loved about the character. And when somebody can create something that sticks to your memory like that's just awesome. And but I'm also just a huge Dragon Ball fan. Dragon Ball Z, Super. I even like GT. I know people crap on me, but I like GT. Except for when the Dragon Balls went black, and then it just kind of went really weird. So, but it really sucks that we lost somebody in our world that anybody lost, really. But as far as the things that we love, video games and anime, it really hits you home because that's someone you grew up with, someone whose contributions to the things you love kind of guide you as you've grown. They create memories and they tweak the way you see things and love things. And it sucks. It really does. For some people, it's just the guy who did something. For many of us, it's the guy who created so much of what we are and the things we love. So, but yeah, I'm getting all emotional on this, so that sucks. But I think his contributions will not stop for a long time. He's still got plenty of work coming out. Dragon Ball Daima, and I think that's how you pronounce it, Daima. And he's also got Sandland coming out, which is, I believe, a game and a manga series that comes out with it. I can't remember what I saw in that.
It looks like the manga series has been out since 2000. It looked like that's when it debuted. Okay. So yeah.
So and the character designs for Sandlot they look great. They look great.
Yeah, Sandland I'm looking forward to because it's a open world RPG, JRPG. So I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I think all these people lining up, showing their love for this guy. I think I wish I contributed in my life to as many people as this guy did. I may not get a visual on Final Fantasy, but maybe you can go down to the video game store, go down there at GameStop and light a candle. That's my contribution. So, you guys got anything else before I break out the tissues? All right. Thanks for watching all the way through, and let us know what you think about Akira's passing, what he meant to you, how you felt about his artwork, because it was extremely distinctive. Your favorite memory of something that he's worked on or done. Let us know what you think. And thank you for listening all the way to the end, and we'll see you next time. See ya.